What's happening, YouTube? Been a while since I made a video, but I'm actually gonna take a little bit of a road trip. It'll be the first long distance one that I've done in the premium extended range. Again, I'm driving a 2022. I've got the one software update before the most recent, so I'm on 4.2.5, which some vehicles have received 4.2.6, which, from what I gather, adds updates to the guessometer when using the onboard navigation. So I'll just let this use its typical guessometer adjustments, probably not tied into the onboard navigation, which is fine. So as you can see here, traveling a good bit outside the range bubble. You're probably thinking, well, if you're going on a long road trip, why are you charging only to 90% and not at 100%? I could have charged to 100%, but regardless of 90 or 100%, the way the chargers are spaced out, I was stopping at this one regardless. So didn't charge to 100%. What I'm actually going to do, and it's not on the map here, is I'm actually going to be taking this alternative route here. And what that route will do, going down 84 into this part of New York, if I'm correct, it's right about here. I'm actually going to be stopping and charging at a Tesla MagicDock station. I figure we'll give that one a try since we haven't done that one yet. And then I am going to charge one more time in the Philadelphia region, just because charging where I'm going to be visiting, there's not a lot in the area. So I'll charge one more time. That'll be around dinner time anyhow. I'll let the car charge while I grab a bite to eat, and we'll see how we do for efficiency and range. I'm going to be leaving here in a little while. The car's, like I said, at 90%, and we're going to use the onboard navigation, and I'm going to navigate directly to that Tesla charging station, which is this one right here.
Obey traffic laws.
And as you can see, it's going to be about 3 hours and 20 minutes, 193 miles. It's not telling me that I need to charge. So because this Tesla charging station isn't listed in the Ford navigation as a charging station, and because it's not telling me that I need to charge, there won't be any onboard preconditioning happening. That's not really going to matter. It's warm weather. We're in the high 60s here in New Hampshire. We're going to be in the 70s, getting close to 80s all the way down. So preconditioning is not really going to matter or have an impact on charging speed. But we'll get to this Tesla charging station in Brewster or Brewer. I forget the name of the town now. And we'll see how that goes. I'll make sure that I go in and reset all my information, and you'll see that in a minute. So destination is about 200 miles away. Just got in the car, getting ready to go. Trip, reset, trip, reset. So we'll use trip 1 as our individual legs of the trip. So from here to the Tesla charging station, and then from the charging station to either the next charging station or the hotel, depending on what I decide to do there. And then trip 2 will end up being the total trip, so that'll include me driving around doing some work-related things over the next couple days, and I will update you guys as I hit some charging locations. Am also running the and pardon the mess, the car scanner app. I've got my little dongle down here in the AWD2 port, and I will be running some of the data here. So this will be good. Once we get to the charging station in Brewster, we'll be able to see what we have for incoming. We'll be able to see what the battery temperatures are. Again, it's warm. It's going to be warm the whole way, so I'm not too worried about there being any temperature limitations. If anything, maybe the battery's too warm, but I don't expect that to happen. So we'll see what we get. I'll update you guys along the route. All right, we're on the road. Just been on the highway for a few minutes now. You can see the efficiency so far. Had to navigate to the highway through just some basic town roads, so was up in a high efficiency. Now that we're up at some speed, doing 75, we've got the Blue Cruise running. So again, because this is a 2022, I just have the original Blue Cruise, so I don't have the ability to kind of reposition myself in the lane. So it does still kind of hug the right lane. The way that it operates, still a little bit of, you can see the steering wheel kind of jiggling back and forth a little bit to keep it centered even while driving straight. Works fine for what it is. I pretty much rest my hand on the wheel anyhow. Don't really need the hands-free. It would be nice to have the lane change just to see how that works, but we'll get that when we get that, if we get that. And if Ford decides that they want to charge a boatload of money for it, then that'll be something I will not experience. But it's telling me to watch the road because my phone got in the way of my glasses. Anyhow, we're moving along, and based on the route here, you can see the expectation for arrivals that will arrive with 20% battery. So that'd be perfect. We should get good charging speed if we're arriving with 20% battery. Where we're at right now, it looks like the battery is reading about 82 degrees on the coolant, but 65-ish on the battery sensor itself. And yes, I am running hardwired Android Auto. It just works better, keeps my phone better charged, so that's why I'm not running the wireless. But I'll keep you guys posted. So far, so good. You can see I got about 5,800, almost 5,900 miles on here. I've had the car since October of 2022, and it is now mid to late May 2023. And if you look on the AWD scanner, you can see that the age of the battery is about 10 months old, and we're still showing a fully healthy battery at 100%. So according to this, no degradation. You wouldn't expect there to be any at 5,800 miles, especially since this is my first real road trip in it. I've done very little DC fast charging. It's all home charging, and I keep it at 90% in the winter, and then I charge on an as-needed basis, maybe once a week, in the warmer months, because I'm not doing a lot of miles. It's just easier I just use up the battery and plug it in as needed. Alright, we've been going for almost 2 hours. We're at 111 miles. We're averaging 3.1 kilowatts per mile, or 3.1 miles per kilowatt. My dyslexia gets me on that one every time. So 3.1, right in line with EPA expectations. You gotta love the warm weather. We're at 50% state of charge. We've got 87 miles to go until we get to our first charging station, which will be the Tesla MagicDock station. Giving that a try. You can see down on this thing here the actual state of charge and the displayed state of charge are pretty much even, which is an interesting view. I haven't seen that in the past. Usually the actual state of charge is slightly higher because it accounts for that buffer. So that's interesting that it's basically right about the same for each of those. The battery temperature, you can see the min temperature is about 71.5. The max temperature is about 73.5. It's been staying in about that range. Up where it says charger power limit, so second box down on the right, it's saying that it should accept 144 kilowatts. I'll be interested to see what we actually get once we get to the charger and what that reads. We'll compare what that says to what we're getting. I don't know if that's a true reading or not, but it'd be interesting to see. Been on the highway, Blue Cruise most of the way. It's been working well. You can see here, it's all driving for the most part. A little bit of climate use. I've got the air conditioner set to low. I've got the fan set to a speed of 2, so just enough to kind of maintain a comfortable temperature in here. So about 75 degrees outside, and still averaging 3.1. So we'll see what we get once we get to this Tesla station. All right, we're about 10 minutes away from the charging station. Looks like we're probably gonna beat the original 20-minute estimate, or 20% estimate. It kind of jumped back and forth based on speed and some traffic. Because as of right now, it's estimating that we're going to arrive with 21%.
In 1/2 mile, be in either of the 2 right lanes, then keep right.
Rather than the 20% that we originally planned for. So as we're pulling up, we're going to be pulling up at that 21%, like I said. Let's see what we get for a charge speed compared to what this number here says. It'll be interesting to see if we get close to that 147.
Be in either in right lanes.
All right, 22%. Pulling up to the station. It's right up there in the distance. I don't know if you could see that or not. Gas station nearby, just a Dunkin' Donuts. Would have been nice if there was a place to get some food, but at least there's a gas station or a Dunk's, because after 3 hours of driving, a bathroom would be well appreciated. So we're at 3 hours and 20 minutes, and we are at 197 miles, and with some of that slowdown, it has gotten us to 3.3 miles per kilowatt. That is great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up. All the stations are empty, so I don't have to worry about blocking anyone. But I'm still going to take this one over here, since it would be the least likely to block anyone, just in case there's like a surge of Teslas that just happen to show up. But I don't expect that to happen. It's 2:30 in the afternoon on a Monday. Most people will be at work. But anyhow, we're pulled up. I'm sure you've seen plenty of YouTube videos on how the MagicDock works, so I'm not going to go too much into that. I'm going to get it started up. I'm going to keep this bad boy running here. We'll see what we're at. So the temperatures on the battery, the min was 77, the max was almost 79, the coolant was 91.5. It's saying we should be able to pull 148. We'll see where that really comes out to. Alright, first attempt failed. Got a charger station fault. Alright, attempt 2 charger fault. I'm going to move over to one of those and see if it helps. Alright, so after moving and really having to inch up close because the wire's kind of short, because it's designed for Tesla, not for Ford, We are finally charging. If I'm reading this correctly, it's got 115 kilowatts coming in. It's giving me a fast charge, 80% by 3 o'clock. That's in about a half hour from now, so that's pretty good. We'll see how that works out. So there kind of was a run on this station. There's a new iX next to me. There's a Model 3 next to them. Not a Model 3, a Model S. A Model Y just pulled out of the last station, and then this Model Y just pulled into the one that I was trying to charge at but failed. One little interesting point, I assumed these docking stations wouldn't be in the onboard navigation, but it looks like this one actually is. So at some point that got pushed into the navigation, so that's good to know. I'm gonna go ahead, let this thing charge up. That's gonna be my final destination. It's telling me I need to get to 71. I'm gonna push past that. Once I get over that, I'm gonna start this over again, and I'm gonna add a charger along the way, just to make sure I arrive at the hotel with a decent state of charge to hold me over for a couple days while I'm at my office. This got the battery temperature nice and hot. It's been moving at a pretty steady clip. It's reading 83 here. When I go into the app, the Tesla app, it's showing that it's delivering at a higher rate than this, but that could just be from the loss from through the wire into the car and all the associated losses. But overall, still relatively happy with what I'm getting. I wish it was delivering a little bit faster because I'm only at 67%. I would have liked to have seen that rip a little bit in the closer to 100 at this percentage. But again, the station was relatively easy except for that one station with the fault, so I can't complain. Alright, so I just passed 80%, which is about where the charging curve drops off. It's not as bad as it used to be back in the early days of Mach-E, but it dropped from it's like 75 kilowatts displayed here to 42. But I've got plenty now, so I'm gonna unplug. Alright, so I've put in my final destination. I added one charger, even though it's telling me I need to spend 0 minutes there because it says I can make it to my destination with some battery remaining. Either way, I'm going to stop at an Electrify America station with the hopes that it's not broken, and charge up some more when I get down there. So this will put us at about 3 hours and 40 minutes from here, 160 miles. And then if we go back to our trip, so we're currently at 3.3 for the next leg down. I'll just use this trip part and we'll see what we get. Alright, I had to abandon the Ford navigation. It was giving me a really long estimated time of arrival, about an hour and a half longer than what is shown here. So could just be something where it's getting some bad information on traffic or what, but I've abandoned and jumped back over to my trusty Google Maps for getting me to where I need to go. I'm still going to add in that EA station though. Yes, which is very odd. So you can see here that I've got the, well, you can't really see it, but I've got the EA station punched in as the where we're going to. But if you look on the Ford navigation, it's estimating that to be a 3 hour and 22 minute, whereas on the Google screen it was like 2 hours and 33 minutes, 2 hours and 30 minutes. So very odd that they're given such dramatic differences in estimated time of arrival. So again, like I said, I don't know if that's just some weird traffic information that Ford has, but it is what it is. I'm gonna stick with the Google Maps for now. Alright, I've been going for about 2.5 hours. Almost there. Got about another hour maybe to go. Hit some traffic coming through New York and New Jersey as expected, which slowed me down. But for the 100+ miles that I did since leaving the Tesla charging station in Brewster, New York, getting here to wherever the hell I am now, 3.7 miles per kilowatt. That's pretty good, which puts us at almost 300 miles for the trip thus far. The car's been running for over 6 hours. 3.5. We're currently at 49%. I'll probably go in and then use the Ford navigation, put in my address, and add the charger. But right now I just got to get out and stretch my legs and walk around, and then I'll hammer out this last piece. Alright, back in the car. Added in a Electrify America station, and we'll be on our way. The battery temperature is still elevated since the last time we charged up, so I don't expect that to go down too far. It is saying now that it would accept up to 162 kilowatts. We'll see how true that is once we get to the EA station. Because it knows we're going to a charging station, it should do some preconditioning in if it believes it needs to do so. So we'll see if it does anything obvious as far as battery thermal management. If I notice anything, I'll post it in here. Okay, I've arrived at Electrify America. Not showing that it's broken, so hopefully it works. For this leg, 50 miles, a little over an hour, 3.1. Pretty much call this the end for today. Averaged 3.5 over almost 350 miles and 7 hours, 20 minutes of runtime. That's a good number. Happy about that. Good weather. This thing performs pretty well. Alright, we connected. Alright, we're up at 150, 151, 153, 155, 157, 160. Let's see how much. That's probably where it's going to level. Ooh, look at that. Definitely the highest I've ever seen. So maybe the preconditioning actually helped. Couldn't tell if anything was happening in the car. I could hear the fans running. So it must have been doing something. Alright, back on the road, heading home. So driving north from the Philadelphia area back up to New Hampshire. I've been in the car for about 35 minutes now. Gone about 36 miles. Wasn't able to charge. There was a car parked at the charger all night. So I only got a little bit of a charge once that became available. So I left with about 60% and gonna have to stop along the way. The Ford navigation's given me a much longer route than using a better route planner and Google. But I'm gonna get myself up to the major highway and then figure out charging along the way. Still running my car scan, so we'll be able to see the temperatures. and percentages. As of right now, for this part of the trip, we're doing 3 miles per kilowatt, which is pretty good because, as you can see, we're blukersing at 80 miles per hour, which is a little bit above the speed limit, but going with the flow of traffic. But I'll keep this updated and see how it goes. Alright, still driving along. I'm at 38% state of charge. I plugged in a charger not too far away, about 16 more miles. It's a little bit earlier than I would want to stop, but just looking at the map, probably makes the most sense to hit this location, get a charge. Maybe I can get a coffee or something, and we'll be on our way. So I set the charge location in the Ford navigation, so it should do whatever it needs to do from a preconditioning standpoint. You can see the temperatures there. 68 is a min, 75 is a max so far, with 96 being the coolant. Showing that we should be able to charge at 135. So we'll see if any of that increases as we're on our way. And we're currently been on the highway the whole time, going in this 70 mile per hour range, maybe a little above 70, and been averaging a 2.7. So far a little bit less efficient, but we'll see how that flattens out over the length of the trip. Alright, getting close to the charger. We have gone just over an hour, 3 miles away from there, averaging 2.8, speed being the issue, but getting there. Expected max charge rate, according to this again, 145. Temperatures look like they've gone up a little bit, so we're gonna get plugged in. Alright, so I'm at the charge station in New Jersey. Got myself a coffee. Sat here a little longer than planned. I'm already at 85%. That's more than enough that I need to at least get me to the next charging station. So we're gonna figure that out along the route as well. I want to say we maxed out at about 120 kilowatts, so probably shouldn't have been in a 350, but that's okay. Was hoping for the 165, but didn't get there. Probably averaged out about like 115, 110 range for a while. We're only at 40 now because we're up over the 80%, but I'm going to disconnect and get on the road. So this is the little bit of oddity that comes with the Ford navigation. So I'm navigating to an Electrify America station in Massachusetts at the Auburn Mall, and with Google it's putting me on the Mass Pike, which is I-90. But if I try to do that same thing in the maps here, granted it's only 5-10 minutes longer mapping, but it's not giving me that fastest route. And I don't have toll avoidance on or any type of avoidance except for unpaved roads on, so it's a little weird how it runs its algorithms on what that fastest route would be. Just a quick update as to where I'm at. I did need to take a little pit stop from that large black coffee, but so far it's been 4 hours, 200 miles, averaging 3.3, so still pretty good. Alright, so once we got under 20%, you get the low battery warning. On our way, still got about 30 miles to go with an estimated range of 47, so we should arrive with, I don't know, less than 10% of battery, so that'll be a good charge up, grab some lunch, and then be able to make it all the way home. As far as efficiency, still holding high. For this leg, since last time I checked in, averaging 3.1. For the total trip today, averaging 3.3. And for the total round trip, plus everything I did back and forth, work related, 3.3. Entering Massachusetts, got this thing with the charger that I was targeting plugged in. Should arrive with about 7% based on its estimate. It says I only need to go to 39. I'm just going to plug in however long it takes me to do what I need to do, and we'll be above 39%. Then we'll just be able to make our way home. Almost home, finally. It's been a long day. Definitely hit some traffic on the way home. It's a Friday, it's a holiday weekend. It was definitely busy. Took a lot of back roads for the last bit of it here, so you could see the efficiency is way up there. About 2 hours to go 67 miles, which really sucks, but it is what it is. For the total for today, it was 8 hours. Remained at a 3.3 average for the length of the trip. The charging station that I'd stopped at had a little bit of an adventure there, but that's to be expected when you use Electrify America. So the first one didn't work. One of the stations was broken. The next station was giving me super low speeds. So then when I went to one
right
more
onto Central Street.
One more station, and got okay speeds. Definitely not what I would expect, but for the total trip, we'll just call this done here. I was driving for 20 hours, 812 miles, and average 3.3, so that's pretty good.